The shuttle door hissed open. Dr. Liana Gray stepped out, her boots clicking against the polished floors of Orbital Unity, the largest space station ever built by the Galactic Assembly. It floated in neutral space, far from any planet, owned by no single world. Here, peace was negotiated. Or at least, that was the goal. Liana took a deep breath. The air inside the station was sterile but breathable, slightly colder than Earth's atmosphere. She adjusted the collar of her slim gray diplomat uniform and pulled her ID badge tight across her chest. It read, Dr. Liana Gray, Earth Interplanetary Relations Bureau Delegate, Human Coalition. She had attended summits before, but this one felt different. The station buzzed with tension. Delegates of all shapes, sizes, and species moved through the wide halls. Some glided, others crawled. Many turned to look as she passed. Earth was no longer the newest member of the Galactic Assembly, but it was still treated with suspicion. Especially now, she entered the Great Hall of Peace, a vast dome lined with glowing banners from every world in the Assembly. Holographic planets rotated slowly above their respective seats. The air shimmered with quiet whispers and the hum of translation devices. Liana took her seat in Earth's section, nodding politely at the other delegates. A few nodded back, most didn't. Then, without warning, a delegate from the Trinary Confederation rose. His long neck stretched high above his body, and his voice boomed across the chamber. Earth has once again arrived without a single representative of its armed forces, he said. This is a peace summit. All worlds are expected to speak for both their governments and their militaries. Why does Earth always hide theirs? A murmur swept through the hall. Liana's heart sank. She stood slowly. Earth believes in peaceful diplomacy. Our military trusts the Assembly and respects this process. That is why they do not attend. The Trinary delegate tilted his head. Is that so, or are they simply hiding something? The room went silent. Suddenly a blue light appeared at Liana's side. A hologram flickered to life. It was General Orak Ven, head of Earth's planetary defense. His image stood tall, in full uniform, his face unreadable. Our military remains where it is most effective, he said calmly. Earth supports this summit fully, but our presence here is not required. With that, the hologram vanished. The silence lingered. Then the discussion resumed, but the air had changed. After the session, Liana walked quietly through the corridors, thoughts racing. She had always accepted the tradition. Earth's military did not attend peace talks. It was seen as a sign of respect. But now, she wasn't so sure. Why didn't they ever come? And why did it feel like everyone else already suspected something? She made her way to her quarters, the question echoing in her mind. Liana sat alone in her quarters. The walls were smooth metal, the lights dim. Outside the small window, the stars shimmered in endless black. Her mind wasn't on the stars. It was on the question that wouldn't go away. Why does Earth never bring its military to peace summits? The Trinary delegate's challenge still echoed in her ears. So did the calm, flat voice of General Ven. Our presence here is not required. That answer no longer felt good enough. Liana leaned forward at her desk and opened her diplomatic tablet. She accessed the Assembly archives, a massive database of interplanetary history, agreements, and summit records. She searched for Earth's previous peace summit entries. As expected, there were no military representatives listed. Ever. She looked deeper. Earth joined the Galactic Assembly 32 years ago, shortly after a war between two major alien powers, the Trinary Confederation and the Volari Dominion. At the time, Earth was still recovering from its own conflicts, global wars, economic collapse, and rapid technological changes. But something strange stood out. There was a 3-year gap in Earth's official records right before joining the Assembly. No logs, no diplomatic activity, just silence. Strange, Liana whispered. She typed faster, requesting access to Earth's internal military communications during that missing period. Her request was denied. Access restricted. Level 9 clearance required. Liana frowned. She didn't have level 9 clearance. That was reserved for top defense officials and government leaders. She wasn't supposed to dig deeper. But she couldn't stop now. She reached out to an old colleague, Mira Ose, now stationed in Earth's Department of Historical Security. They'd trained together in diplomacy school. Liana sent a secure message, "Need your help. Looking into Earth's missing records during the pre-assembly years. Military logs. Something feels wrong." Mira replied quickly. "Liana, don't. That information is locked for a reason. You won't like what you find. Let it go." That only made her more curious. That night, while most delegates slept, Liana returned to the archives. This time, she accessed the backup server, a hidden system that stored earlier versions of documents before they were classified or redacted. She searched the name Project Echelon. It had appeared once in an old budget report she spotted earlier. One result appeared, just one. She opened the file. A short, grainy video loaded. It showed soldiers in Earth military armor, standing in a burned-out city. Their movements were too perfect, smooth, fast, robotic. One turned to the camera. Its eyes glowed blue. There was no human face behind the visor. The video ended. Liana stared at the screen, heart pounding. What had Earth created? Why was it hidden? She looked around the empty room, her breath shallow. Something deep inside her whispered that Earth's military wasn't just staying away from the peace summits, it was being kept away. Because if the galaxy saw what it had become, it might never be called peace again. Liana stood outside the private comm room, staring at the closed door. Her hands were cold. She had sent a direct request to speak with General Orak Ven. A bold move, one that could end her career. But she needed answers. The door slid open. A voice spoke from inside. She stepped in. The room was dark, quiet and empty, except for a single chair and a holopad built into the table. As she sat, the holopad flickered to life. A full-size hologram of General Ven appeared across from her, dressed in his Earth defense uniform. His face was calm, hard, familiar from screens but colder in person. "Dr. Gray," he said. "This call is highly unusual." "I know," Liana said, "but I found something. A file, a video, from something called Project Echelon." Ven didn't blink. "You accessed restricted military records." "I had to," she said. "The assembly is suspicious. They want answers, and so do I." There was a long silence. Finally, General Ven spoke. "Project Echelon was initiated during Earth's darkest hours," he said. "Before we joined the assembly, Earth was attacked. Not by any known species. It was a silent invasion. Machines, self-replicating, wiped out entire cities." Liana's eyes widened. "Why isn't this public knowledge?" "Because no one helped us," he said. "Earth was ignored. We weren't part of the assembly yet, so we fought alone. We had no choice." He leaned forward. "We created our own answer. Artificial soldiers, built to adapt, built to win. They were human at first, piloted suits, cyber-augmented troops, but the war changed them. Fast." Liana remembered the video. The glowing blue eyes, the smooth, unnatural movement. "What are they now?" she asked quietly. "They are still loyal," Ven said. "Still under control. But they're not fully human anymore. They think faster, move faster. Some don't speak, some don't sleep." He paused. "And if the other species saw them, really saw them, they wouldn't call us allies, they'd call us dangerous." Liana swallowed hard. "But hiding them, doesn't that make us more dangerous?" "We've kept the peace," Ven said. "We've never used them outside Earth's orbit. We obey the rules. But they are a sword we cannot unsheath, not in front of the galaxy." Liana looked at the general. For the first time she saw fear in his eyes, not of the enemy, but of what Earth had become. "If the assembly demands we bring the military to the next summit," she asked. "They won't," he said. "Because we won't let them." The line ended. The hologram vanished. Liana sat in silence. Project Echelon was real. Earth's military wasn't absent by tradition. It was hidden by design. And now the assembly was getting too close to the truth. The next morning, Liana entered the assembly hall to find chaos waiting. Every seat was filled. Delegates shouted across the chamber, translation systems struggling to keep up. Glowing messages hovered above each delegate's desk, flashing urgent notices. The room was louder than she had ever heard it. At the center, the Tranari representative stood again. His voice rang out over the noise. We demand a full disclosure from Earth. Their refusal to bring military delegates is not just an insult, it is a threat to peace. Another voice joined in, this time from a Volari diplomat. If Earth does not comply, they must be suspended from the assembly. We cannot negotiate peace with shadows. The assembly speaker, a neutral AI known as Voice of Order, addressed the hall. Earth must provide full military transparency within 48 hours. Failure to do so will result in immediate diplomatic sanctions and suspension from assembly proceedings. The message echoed through the dome. Liana sat frozen. Around her, alien leaders were already preparing for conflict. Ships would be called. Borders would be closed. And Earth, her home, was standing on the edge of exile. She returned to her quarters. Heart pounding, she called Earth immediately. General Ven appeared again, his image sharp, his voice cold. You know the situation, she said. You have to act. Send someone. Show them something. No, Ven said firmly. If they see the Echelon units, they will panic. It will do more harm than good. They already believe we're hiding weapons. Hiding makes us look guilty. Because we are. He snapped. Then softened. Liana, listen to me. You think this is about trust. It's not. This is about survival. The moment they fear us more than they need us, we're done. She stared at him. Then what do? We wait, we delay. The assembly always folds when they realize we're not bluffing. He ended the call. But Liana didn't believe him. She paced her room. Every hour, new alerts came in. Member worlds were breaking ties. Some ships were already leaving the station. The peace summit was falling apart. She couldn't sit still anymore. She had to act. That night she met with Relic, a tech diplomat from the Volari race. He had always been curious about Earth, and more open-minded than most. She trusted him. I need to send a transmission through your relay, she said. One that can't be traced to Earth's main line. He frowned. What are you trying to do? Tell the truth, Liana said. Show them what Earth is hiding. Let them judge for themselves. Relic hesitated. That could destroy your entire career. She nodded. And maybe save something bigger. They connected her device to the Volari relay. She uploaded the footage, the video of the Echelon soldiers, the records of Earth's silent war, and the full report on what the military had become. Then she pressed send. The files went out across the assembly's private network, unlocked and unedited. She waited. Moments later, emergency alerts flashed across the station. Every screen lit up with blue eyes, cold metal, and the silent, terrifying truth of what Earth had created. The station fell silent. Across Orbital Unity, screens glowed with still images and video clips. Earth's hidden truth now exposed. Delegates watched in disbelief as Project Echelon was revealed in full detail. Footage of Earth's cybernetic soldiers played in loops. They stood tall in scorched battlefields, unmoving and silent. Their armor was smooth and silver. Their eyes glowed cold blue. They didn't speak. They didn't blink. They didn't look human. In the great hall, the room was still. No one spoke for several minutes. Then the shouting began. They built weapons that think. Earth lied to the assembly. They cannot be trusted. Delegates rose one after another, their voices full of anger and fear. Some demanded Earth's immediate expulsion. Others asked for sanctions, restrictions, or a full investigation. The Volari ambassador stood and pointed at Liana. Is this the peace Earth offers? Machines with no soul. Soldiers that never die. Liana stood slowly. Her voice was calm, steady. Earth fought a war alone. No one came to help. We built what we had to survive. We didn't want this. We didn't plan to keep it hidden forever. But our leaders feared how you would react. A few delegates looked away, ashamed. She continued, "Yes, the Echelon soldiers are powerful, but they have never attacked another world. They remain on Earth. We have kept the peace. We came to this assembly in good faith." The room grew quiet again. Then the voice of Order, the AI moderator of the assembly, spoke. "Earth has violated transparency protocol, but no direct threat has been made to other members. In light of the new information, the following measures are proposed." A list appeared on the central display. Earth will remain in the assembly. Project Echelon will be placed under joint supervision by a new multi-species oversight council. Earth's military technologies must be audited regularly. Any deployment beyond Earth's orbit must be approved in advance. Delegates murmured, reading the terms. Some disagreed. Some nodded. The Trinari representative stood. "We feared what we did not understand. But now we know. And we will watch closely." The vote passed. Earth would stay, but not unchallenged. Later that evening, General Venn contacted Liana. His face was tight with controlled anger. "You went around command. You exposed our greatest secret." "I told the truth," she said. "And we're still part of the assembly." He didn't reply right away. Then he said, "You may have saved our place here, but you've changed everything." The call ended. Liana closed her tablet and looked out the wide station window. Dozens of ships drifted by. Peace was holding for now, but Earth's mask was gone, and the galaxy had seen what waited behind it. Liana stood at the edge of the observation deck, her hands resting against the cool glass. Orbital Unity spun slowly in silence, its lights glowing softly in the dark. Beyond the station, Earth's ship drifted quietly among other vessels, smaller now, no longer hidden behind secrets. The galaxy knew the truth. Behind her, the assembly was still recovering. Meetings were quieter now, full of cautious words and measured trust. Delegates passed each other in the halls with new looks, some of respect, some of suspicion. Earth had not been expelled, but things would never be the same. She had spoken the truth, and the truth had consequences. Liana walked through the central corridor. Screens on the walls showed updates. The newly formed Oversight Council was in session, reviewing Earth's military protocols. A Volari admiral had already been assigned to monitor Earth's next satellite launch. A Trinari ethics team was scheduled to inspect Project Echelon's core AI. Earth was no longer operating in the shadows. She entered a quiet chamber where her personal belongings were packed. Her time at the summit was over. Her term as Earth's lead delegate had ended early by her own request. She needed time to think, to rest, and to let others take the next steps. A soft chime rang. A message blinked on her tablet. From Mira Ose, "You did the right thing, even if they don't see it now." Liana smiled faintly. It helped to hear it. Another message arrived, this one from the Oversight Council. From Relic, Volari representative. "We begin the review next week. Earth is on the edge, but still inside. Thank you for trusting us." She sent a short reply. "Keep watching. That's how peace survives." Later she walked alone to the shuttle bay. A small Earth ship waited to return her home. As she boarded, she paused for one last look at Orbital Unity. It had always felt like a symbol of hope. Now it felt more fragile, but still standing. Inside the shuttle, she fastened her belt and looked out the window. The stars shifted slowly as the engines hummed to life. She thought of the soldiers with glowing blue eyes, of the silence they carried, of the war Earth had fought alone. And she thought of what came next, not peace built on lies, but peace that could survive the truth. The shuttle pulled away from the station, gliding into space. A quiet voice spoke in her mind. "Peace is never easy, but it begins with honesty."